at Cal State LA, and more importantly today, I am chair of the Board of Directors for the Pat Brown Institute. It's a real pleasure to welcome you all today on behalf of myself and on behalf of President Covino, who sends his regrets. As many of you may know, this is a very exciting time for Cal State LA. We have affirmed our commitment to students and their success. This fall, we welcomed our largest student body in the history of the university, welcoming nearly 28,000 students. For the third or fourth year in a row, we've raised our graduation rates, and we've committed ourselves to working with students in the community. I want to take a moment to welcome some of those students and welcome our students from Roosevelt High School who will be working with the Pat Brown Institute. These are our future leaders, so this is a great opportunity for us and for them. Among other recognitions that Cal State LA has received this year, our efforts on behalf of students was recently acknowledged by the U.S. Department of Education. Cal State LA was one of just 3 institutions in the state to receive close to $6 million in first-in-the-world grants to improve success in STEM education. We've also reaffirmed our commitment to our city and our region. We are opening our brand new campus here in downtown in January. We're planning to launch, or getting ready to launch, our LA Biospace, a bioscience center to spur innovation, create jobs, and prepare students for STEM jobs. We're also launching an LA-based curriculum which will conclude with a symposium held in May. No unit at Cal State LA better represents our commitment to its city and its region than the Pat Brown Institute. PBI and this conference exemplify Cal State LA's commitment to engagement, service, and the public good. I'm particularly struck by the appropriateness of the title of this conference because all of us together are in fact links in that chain. I'd like to thank you all again for attending. In particular, I'd like to thank the members of the Board of Advisors who are here today and Mayor Eric Garcetti. The mayor has been a great friend to Cal State LA. He has reached out to the university community and to the Pat Brown Institute. PBI is partnering with his office on Civic University, an initiative we're particularly proud of, as it helps prepare members of our community to understand and impact city government. It's a real pleasure to welcome him to open this year's conference. Eric Garcetti is the 42nd mayor of Los Angeles. He was raised in the San Fernando Valley, has a BA and an MA from Columbia University. He has a very prestigious resume. He was a Rhodes Scholar and has taught at Occidental College and USC. From 2001 until taking office as mayor, Eric Garcetti served as council member representing the 13th District, which includes Hollywood, Echo Park, Silver Lake, and Atwater Village, all of which were dramatically revitalized under his leadership. He was elected 4 times by his peers to serve as president of the Los Angeles City Council. His Back to Basics agenda as mayor is focused on job creation and solving everyday problems for Los Angeles' residents. Again, at Cal State LA and PBI, we deeply appreciate his partnership. It is a pleasure to welcome Mayor Garcetti.
Thank you so much. A very good morning, and thank you, Provost Mahoney, for the kind introduction, and thank you to my dear friend Rafe for the invitation to kick off this very prestigious and important day. Welcome to our students from Roosevelt, all of our stakeholders from labor and from business and from the community around the wonderful harbor, San Pedro Harbor. I always say, and we'll talk about this, that we have 1 bay, 2 ports, and 1 vision. And today I hope that we can continue to move forward on looking at the ways we can do that with great leaders in Long Beach and Los Angeles together. Joe Buscaino, Suja Lowenthal is here, a great city council member. I know Robert Garcia, my dear friend and mayor of Long Beach, where we've obliterated a border between our 2 cities. It might still exist on a map, but it doesn't feel like it in the way that we govern. We continue to push forward in the way that we can create jobs, ensure trade, and look at the impact of this wonderful asset that we have. It's great that so many folks who live to the south have come north today. But there's a little error of history whenever we write the history of Los Angeles. Yes, technically the Pueblo was founded here first, but really the growth of the city was made possible by the excavation of the Port of Los Angeles. And those who know LA history know that Phineas Banning and the folks that came and actually dug out a harbor for the city of Los Angeles, changed the landscape of our economy, our neighborhoods, our culture forever. And today, when you fast forward a couple hundred years to 2015, we're at a very important moment where we have a lot of hopeful signs. Since I became mayor just over 2 years ago, we've added almost 90,000 jobs to our economy, the best pace we've seen in a decade. Unemployment, which started at 10.2%, just last month was 6.6%. As impressive as the employment numbers are, I'm even doubly impressed by the number of new businesses that have started. Over 50,000 businesses, get that, 90,000 jobs, but 50,000 new businesses have been incorporated in a city that is now the most entrepreneurial city in the country. 1 out of 172 residents is actually an entrepreneur. And we're seeing so much of that activity take place around the southern part of our city, around the Bay of San Pedro, and the way that we see the spin-offs of not just the supply chain for goods, but many of the services that look at technology that will drive, of course, the next century. We're spending about $1 million a day to upgrade the Port of Los Angeles under the amazing stewardship and leadership of Gene Soroka, a man I was happy to make our executive director of the port, who came from business, who came from the industry. And I said, I want us to do all the good things we're supposed to do. Be good neighbors, be environmental stewards. But our first job is business. Let's get it right. Let's make sure at the crisis moments, like when we were threatened with a strike, and he and I deployed up north with Labor Secretary Thomas Perez, and our great labor friends and business friends brought them together and got an agreement for labor peace, or whether it's in the opportunities where we can test new things and look at automation that can help us create jobs and stay competitive. We're continuing to do those things together. And I think I'm proudest of the fact that Long Beach and Los Angeles have entered a new partnership, approved by the federal government for the first time, to be able to collaborate and coordinate much of the things that we kind of did in Island. We'll still vigorously compete with each other. The industry would have nothing less because they can play us off each other, but it drives prices down, it drives competition up, it's good. But there's things that we need to do to collaborate better, like sharing our chassis and getting the next chapter of our clean air plan together, and looking at opportunities for us to help transform a trucking industry that is in bad need of it, both for the workers and for the businesses that are now all losing money. We have to be the cutting edge. We can be that cutting edge. And I'm so excited that you are here tackling this issue today. The numbers are pretty simple. 1,000 people, more or less, work for the Port of LA. Add, about the same for the Port of Long Beach. 10,000 folks work in actually the great labor that our longshore workers do to offload the cargo. 100,000 people work in the area, moving that to the next phase, and over 1 million jobs in Southern California are linked. So it's a factor of 10 each step of the way. And get this statistic, nationwide, 1 out of 50 jobs in America can be linked back to the ports of LA and Long Beach. 1 out of 50. So what we're talking about, yeah, that deserves a round of applause. So what we're talking about isn't just that this is important for LA, this is important for America. So as we talk about America's ports and the possibilities, I think they're going out there for the picture. So that's what, don't be confused. My conclusion was going to be really bad, don't worry. So in conclusion, that's always a sign. It's like the music of the Oscars when the kids start to leave. But in conclusion, what we have is something that isn't just a local asset, a regional asset, but a national asset, and indeed increasingly an international asset. And I want to look back at my time as mayor and say, we didn't just elevate Los Angeles to a truly great global city, but one of the 3 or 5 most important hubs that the world has. I know that we can do that if we think big. I know that we can do that if we dream about making sure, whether it's a kid growing up in Wilmington or whether it's somebody who is, a international titan of trade, can both see what their role is in moving forward the labor, the innovation, the technology, and indeed the good life that comes through our ports. So thank you so much, Ray, for doing this, and count on us to be those partners along the way for the ideas that you have, the needs that you have, and finally, the dreams that you have for the ports of Long Beach and LA. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.